Welcome to the Matt Cottrell Report. These are the extraordinary stories about ordinary, everyday individuals. Today's guest is a longtime San Angelo resident. He moved to Dallas and then New York to get into high-end men's fashion and suit making. Now he's the suit specialist at our very own Dillard's. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it.
Yes, dude. So, man, I'm excited to talk about some of the stuff that you do. In particular, you know, you're obviously, it's pretty warm outside, but you are in a three-piece custom fit
Yes,
suit.
sir.
And looking sharp. I want to talk about your hair because that's awesome.
Yeah.
But for those who don't know you, look into that camera and give the audience your elevator pitch. Tell them who you are and what you do.
Yeah, my name is Zach Goldsberry. I am working at Dillard's currently as the tailored specialist. I wear three-piece suits in the 100-degree weather because it shows that I know kind of what I'm doing, and you kind of get the option to have some lining and stuff like that in it. You can put your name and stuff like that. So that's a pretty cool thing we're doing right now at Dillard's. San Angelo hasn't really had a lot of the custom suits and stuff like that. So I'm excited to be able to bring it to San Angelo.
Are you looking to elevate your brand with custom headwear? Custom business hats for high quality customized hats, perfect for any business need. Whether it's for company branding or distinctive merchandise, we ensure that your brand gets the attention it deserves. Plus, we offer free quotes to help you get started. Visit our website at custombusinesshats.com. Custom Business Hats, we've got you covered.
Yeah, dude. Awesome. That's perfect.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I just saw the inside of your suit jacket there, and it reminded me I had a guest on. You might know him, and he won't mind if I drop his name, but his name is Jesse Ramon.
Oh, yeah.
Does that sound familiar? Because he got a custom suit made, and it was similar to that. Like, he had the inside done with I think his name, but it's beautiful.
I think I remember working with Jesse, actually. Yeah, I do.
And I reached out to him, actually, because he put up a thing on Facebook, and he said, new suit goofing.
Yeah.
And he put a bunch of pictures, and I was like, dang, man, that is a nice suit.
Absolutely.
Like, it fit him so perfectly. And I forget what he might have told me that he went here, but I don't remember. He just told me kind of what kind of suit it was, and that it wasn't as expensive as I thought. I thought it was like, I thought I was looking like a $5,000 suit or something.
Yeah.
But I think he spent like $800 or something.
Absolutely.
Which is still very nice.
And that's one of the really good things about Alton Lane, who partnered with Dillard's, basically. They offer a custom suit for an affordable price. So our suits actually start at $4.99 for the whole suit.
Nice.
That's jacket and pants.
Yeah.
We have options for three-piece. We have options for just a blazer. But the starting point is kind of that $4.99 range.
Yeah.
It's a 2-week turnaround time. I actually do think I remember working with Jesse.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
If it was a black suit, I think I did
I
make
think
that.
so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. I really enjoy meeting all these people and kind of getting to put our personal spin on the suit that is theirs.
Yeah.
Makes it a little bit more personal for them and stuff like that. So, and then the suits kind of go from $4.99. That's a tier 1.
Okay.
That's going to be a predominantly polyester fabric with a little bit of wool.
Okay.
And then tier 2, you get into more of the predominant wool suit with a little bit of polyester.
Nice.
That's a $5.99 range.
Okay.
Then you get up to $7.99 and upwards. Those are going to be all 100% wools.
Whoa.
And the higher end tiers you go, the nicer mills the fabrics come from.
So how high can you go, like with Alton Lane?
$17.99 is the tier 6 suits, and those are made from fabrics
like silk
from
or something.
Well, there are some wool silk linen options, which are good for West Texas because it's predominantly wool with a little bit of silk and linen, which gives it that structure. So the suit doesn't get as wrinkled as a 100% linen suit.
Okay.
But it still has that silk and that linen in it
that
give it more breathability for that West Texas heat.
Dang, you know your stuff. Huh?
Yeah, yes sir, yes sir.
That's cool, dude. I
Absolutely.
like that.
And those mills that it comes from are Loro Piana and Drago, which are some of the highest end mills in the world. Some of the finest retailers are selling Loro Piana suits, Drago suits from Italy. Those are some of the, they're super high-end quality. And when you get really, really high-end quality like that, the drape of the fabric actually like lays nicer on the body.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. Yeah. Versus if you go with like a tier 1 at that $4.99 range, it's going to be predominantly polyester. It's great for a starter suit or if somebody's working a lot where they're wearing their suit, day after day after day. You don't want to have a super high-end one because they break down easier.
Okay.
So having kind of what I call a workhorse suit at that $4.99 range is nice.
Yeah.
It won't drape as nicely on the body as like we say.
What is this one you're wearing here?
I believe this one, I actually got this one for free.
Wow.
They had a competition to see who could sell the most custom suits.
Yeah.
And I took that title for our district.
Yeah.
I beat up, Dallas and Fort Worth and a lot of those guys. Yeah, yeah.
Dude, that's
outsold
incredible.
those guys and stuff like that. So that was a really cool, it's a really cool feeling to be able to wear something that you earned.
Absolutely.
Versus just paying for it. You know what I mean?
That is super cool, dude.
It's very cool. I think this one's a tier 3.
Is it?
Yeah, so that would be from the Reda and the VBC or Vitale Barbera Canonico.
Okay.
Those are 2 Italian mills that are a little bit more known. They're a little bit more retailer friendly. The Loro Pianas and the Dragos go a little bit higher end where it's more custom.
Okay.
But for like VBC and Reda, I actually worked at a company called Suit Supply.
Yeah.
That's actually where I kind of got my start in
Really?
menswear.
I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
tell us like how you got into it, and we'll get back to that in a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. It was kind of funny. I was working at Kenneth Cole, and I was I was starting to wear suits, and I was kind of like, I kind of like the way I feel in these, and I kind of like the way, I feel a little bit more confident.
I love it. Yeah.
It's a really nice feeling. And I was on LinkedIn, which is a great website. If you're looking to get a job, it's the right way to do it.
It sure is.
And this headhunter actually reached out to me and said that this company, this contemporary men's suit company, was opening up in Dallas.
Yeah.
At the time, I had no idea what that meant, but I was like, hey, I like opportunity. I'm down to, I'm game to try and see what this is about. So I said yes, and this guy named Travis reached out to me and, invited me to a hotel. And I was kind of like, oh, man, I don't know. I'm kind of nervous, but I've never done anything like this. But
what did you think when it was at a hotel?
It was kind of strange because I was like, I wonder what kind of company this is where they're not having like an office space, but they're like meeting at a hotel.
Yeah.
Well, so I remember Travis told me on the phone, hey, we're going to have you meet us at this hotel. Make sure you bring your resume. Make sure you wear a suit. I didn't have a suit at the time.
You didn't? What'd you do?
Man, I had to go to
Goodwill?
I actually went to a bank.
Yeah.
And I got a credit card.
Yeah.
And
did you really, dude?
I
That's
did, man.
cool.
And
you went and bought one.
I went and I
That's
went
what you
to
got to do, man. If you have to, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that.
Sometimes you have to take the opportunities and really run with them.
Yes.
And I don't regret it one bit.
Cool.
I ended up getting a suit, and I have a picture of when I was in the mirror with the first time with the whole look together, and I look at it now, and I'm like, man, what was I thinking? But
really?
Yeah, because
why?
style is like an evolution.
Yeah.
And it kind of changes over time. I've been in menswear for like 15 years.
Yeah.
So that was a long time ago, and I didn't really know the rules and all the little
I wonder what all the things
nuances.
I'm doing wrong, man.
No, honestly, it's
funny.
it's something that you just kind of learn over time, and
that's cool. I didn't know that.
It's kind of a funny you look back and see where you were, and you're like, man, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah.
And now I look at where I'm at, and it's shown me how much I've grown.
Yeah.
But
do you think, having said that, do you think 10 years from now you'll look back now and say that, or no?
I could, man.
Really?
I
you think?
I don't know. Style is that evolution of style is always going, and I think it really depends on how hungry you are to find more and to really tune in on what you like what works for you.
Yeah.
I think that in 10 years I'll probably be pretty proud of how I dress now.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot,
That's
and
cool.
it's a cool thing to kind of see that evolution.
It is.
But Travis told me on the interview to bring a resume. So I get the suit. I'm on my way there, and I forgot my resume.
Oh no!
And I was like, oh man,
Dude,
I screwed up. I need to have a physical paper resume so I can hand it to him. And I didn't know what to do. I ended up going to the hotel's front desk and asking them, hey, I have an email can I look it up real quick and print it out?
Yep.
And I asked the lady, and she was like, I actually have resume paper. And I was like, oh, that would be awesome. And this is like
That's
10
cool.
minutes before the interview happened. So I'm like scrambling to get it together. This lady was super sweet. She helped me the whole way. And I had the resume in my hand. I got there, and it was like 15 other guys.
Wow.
A lot of them older than me.
Yeah.
A lot of them way more suited up than me.
Wow.
It's very intimidating stuff. We all go into like this boardroom, and we're all sitting at this long table, and
they brought you all in at once?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was like a group interview.
Okay.
And there was like 15, 16 of us or something like that. I remember they numbered us.
Yeah.
Because they were like, they didn't know how to get all the names yet. So they were just like, all right, number 12, what do you think?
Yeah.
And I remember being a little intimidated because these guys were way more prepared.
Yeah, like some of them are probably like you are now, like
Correct.
with the knowledge.
Exactly right. So I was real nervous, but I've always been a go-getter. I've always, worked harder than the guy next to me to get to the next spot.
Nice.
The interview was broken up into 3 parts. One part was just getting to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
The second part was actually a physical outfit put together.
Okay.
So they had a whole bunch of clothes, a whole bunch of suits and ties and stuff, and they were like, all right, we want you to put together an outfit.
Yeah.
Remind you, I don't have any experience in this really, so I can't even, for the life of me, I can't remember what I put together.
Oh, you can't?
No, I have no idea. It was such a blur. I was just like, okay, I guess this is gonna work and stuff. And I'm listening to all these guys talk about the reasons why they put together the things, and I'm like, I just put it together because it looks nice. You know what I mean? I'm also hilariously colorblind a little bit. I am. I'm like red, green, purple, blue.
What does that mean exactly? So like what colors can you not see?
So I see all colors.
Okay.
The way I explain it is it's kind of like on a spectrum.
Okay.
With darker shades, like a dark red, dark green, dark brown, dark orange.
Okay.
Those all can kind of get mixed up to me.
Okay.
And then
I
the
see.
lighter, like pastel colors, like the pastel blue, pastel purple, pastel pink, those kind of get confusing to me as well.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of like my time in menswear was learning codes and
What does that
memorizing
mean, codes?
like style codes to know
Yeah.
what colors were what.
Right.
And
I
then
see.
as I went with it more and more, I kind of realized, oh, this always works with this. So then I just started kind of leaning into that.
Yeah, okay.
But for this interview, I didn't even know what I was putting together.
Yeah.
And I know I kind of like, I feel like I failed a little bit on that second part of the interview.
Yeah.
First part I felt confident with. Second part, I was like, oh man, I don't know about this. The third part was individual interviews. And then the final, like kind of the third part was all of us got back in the room and they were like, we're going to go around the table one more time and everybody just give like a last statement of like, why we should hire you. And they got around. Every single person was like, I've got a passion for fashion. I really care about clothes, and I was just like, I can't keep saying the same thing everybody's saying. So I was like, how do I make myself a little bit different than all these guys? And I was like, it got to me. I think I was like number 12 or something like that.
Yeah.
I was deep in, and I was like, I've never done this before. I'm very new to this menswear game, but it's something that I really do like feel kind of a deep burning for. And I know I messed up the second part of the interview, and I can own up to that. But I will guarantee you that I will work harder than anybody in this room to make sure that I know what colors are what in the future, and to learn y'all's style and how to, perpetuate that to other people.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think that stuck with them.
Yeah.
It was funny. They ended the interview. We all shook hands. They didn't even take my resume.
Wow.
And so I did all that work, and they were like, don't even worry about the resume.
That's hilarious.
I know. I was like, man, I did all that. I panicked for nothing.
They didn't take anybody's?
No.
Okay,
No, they didn't need them.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, I can't believe it. It goes to show you panic sometimes for no reason.
Right? Yeah.
But it was like 2 weeks had gone by, and I hadn't heard anything.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna get this thing. I don't know if I played my cards right with this and stuff like this. I'll never forget it, Matt. I was walking into the mall. I had shattered my iPad.
Oh.
It was cracked screen, so I was going to the mall to get it fixed.
Yeah.
It was raining. I was under an umbrella, and I got a phone call.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, hey, this is Travis. We like you. We want to move forward with you to the next version of the interview.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, next version. What
Yeah,
was
no.
what was that whole ordeal for?
Right.
They're like, we're gonna fly you out to New York.
Whoa.
We're gonna put you in a hotel, and you're gonna go to suit school.
Oh, what?
Yeah. And I was
I didn't
like,
know this was that big of a deal, dude.
I didn't either, man. I was
Whoa.
like, man, what is suit school? I don't even know what that entails. I've never been to New York. I've barely been on a plane. Like, this is kind of crazy. And like within like a week, I was flown off.
Wow.
Stayed in a hotel in Brooklyn. It was kind of cool because the hotel was filled with all these guys that were in my shoes that were trying to get this job, but they were from all over the country.
Okay, yeah.
So there was Boston and LA and Chicago and Miami and Dallas.
Do you know how many guys were competing for your position in your location?
Man, I will say, I think in the Dallas state, I'd already kind of like narrowed us down to who was going to be in the store.
Okay.
They were just there was different suit schools like every 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
So some guys that were in interviews with Dallas were gone already and had made it.
Yeah.
And I had just kind of been in that, like, I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. We're just going to like go to suit school and find out.
Yeah. Okay.
So at suit school, I mean, it was like 2 weeks of learning fabrics and fits and tailoring and actually pinning up side seams and lengthening sleeve lengths and pinning up pants, and they taught you how to do all of it.
That's amazing.
It was very cool. You got to learn a lot about like different types of tannings for shoes, like vegetable tannings and chromatic. All these like very like niche kind of like terms that I had never known about. And I think one of my favorite parts was it was a trial by fire.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is during the day, you were kind of in class, but at night, there was actually a store called Soho.
Yeah.
And that was the main store for suit supply.
Okay.
And it had all of these like all-stars for suit supply that were just like the best sales guys. And they threw you on the floor on like a Friday night.
Yeah.
And there was like, hundreds of people coming to shop.
Oh, wow.
It was very busy, very fast paced.
Yeah.
And you just had to learn on the fly. It was very much like, listen to this guy because he knows what he's doing, emulate what he's doing and figure out how to kind of put your own spin on it so it's not robotic.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it was a very cool way to kind of teach people how to do it and put them in that line of fire.
How'd you do with that?
It was intimidating, but I also just really enjoyed the atmosphere of it. I still remember walking into that store for the first time and like it just had like a specific smell. Yeah. Where I was just like, man, this just smells like luxury fashion. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was just like really clean, like nice smells, and there was like people getting coffee for clients, and clients were sitting in nice chairs like this, and like waiting on hand and foot. And these guys were so good, they could just be like, this guy's a 38 regular. Go over here, grab him this suit, try it on him.
Wow.
It was so cool. Yeah. And I was like, I want to do that. Like, I love this. I really think it's cool. I think, being able to help men gain confidence in wearing something like that was something that really caught my eye and was like, man, this is really cool. So we go through like all of these nights where we're like working with these all-star guys. They're just dressed so cool. They're just New York as hell, and just like it was just a different level of cool.
Yeah, dude.
And I was just like, man, this is what I aspire to be. It was so cool. And the very last like day, we had a test. Okay. And we all stayed at this hotel, all the guys that were in suit school. Yeah. And we all like studied together. We'd all go into each other's rooms and be like, all right, we're gonna study this and we're gonna present this. And at the end, there was this test. And if you passed the test, you got to have the job. Nice. And you'd be able to start at the store you were gonna be, your respective store you were going for. So, the test went and I remember feeling super confident. Yeah. I didn't feel super nervous. I felt like I had been studying really well and that like I had taken everything that those all-stars in this floor had told me and stuff like that. I figured I just like would emulate them like they said. Yeah. And I ended up, getting the job. Wow. And that's cool. Went back to Dallas about like, I think it was like a month or two later, we opened that Uptown location. Okay. We had a big party, Foca de Young. who was the owner or the founder of Suit Supply. He's from Amsterdam.
Yeah?
It's actually an Amsterdam-based company.
No.
Yeah. So,
dude, I love Amsterdam. I've been there 3 times.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Dude.
And my girlfriend, she just got back from Amsterdam, and I was supposed to go with her, but we found my passport.
Yeah.
And we were like, yes, and we open it, and it's
Expired.
dude. Yeah.
And
we
you're
didn't
like,
have time.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not spending $1,900 to get it express paid. Yeah.
So it's out of Amsterdam. That's cool.
Yeah. So this guy Foka actually was kind of crazy. He was like taking suits in the back of his car and taking them to businesses and selling them like that.
Wow.
And then he had this idea, I'm going to build a suit store off of a highway.
Yeah.
And it just blew up.
Whoa.
It just blew up. It got really popular. And then he moved to the States. He went to New York first, I believe. It might have been New York or Chicago was one of the first stores. But they just started kind of blowing up. And then in the Dallas store we opened, he came to the store opening.
You got to meet him and stuff?
Yeah,
Is he
dude.
cool?
He's a very cool guy. Very Dutch. Very like straightforward, but very kind and like super fashionable.
Yeah.
And like this guy named Niche, who was also like the VP, was there, and just all these really cool people were like at this opening, and it was in Uptown Dallas in 2015. Yeah. So it was just like the height of like super tight, tailored suits.
That's right. Yeah.
Now we've kind of like by 2025, we've kind of gotten into this more like classic tailored, a little bit more room.
Yeah.
I think when it was 2015, it was just really like super tailored, super
high up.
Why was
that, do you think?
I think it was just like, a trend, a fashion trend. It kind of just like that really, we went from like the 80s and 90s where it was very like
kind of baggy,
grunge and baggy, very like office space style, pleats and all that. And then, I think the younger crowd just kind of wanted it a little bit more like fashion-y. So then they took it to make it really tight.
Do you know if that was, because a lot of course, fashion trends are recycled.
Yeah.
Was that, had that ever been done before or not? I don't think so.
In the 70s, they had a lot of the tighter pants that had the bell-bottom look to them, but it was never, to my knowledge, that tight and that like tailored and skinny kind of fit.
Right.
And man, I was all about I was drinking the Kool-Aid, you know what I mean? Especially whenever.
I thought that was cool. Yeah.
It was definitely, back then it was super cool.
Yeah.
And it was cool because I remember having that opening, all these people from Dallas were coming in and it was just, you were really networking and meeting a lot of people.
Awesome, man. Yeah.
And then I remember working at that store, and I remember like the first month, I did terrible.
You did?
I did terrible.
Why?
I don't know if it was just like my nerves or like I just didn't really have like the pitch down or like the elevator pitch, as you say.
Yeah.
It just, something wasn't clicking.
Okay.
And I remember there was guys that were way better than me.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are they doing that I'm not picking up on?
What were they doing?
I want to say it was just, I was being too by the script.
Okay.
And I needed to learn more of that, like the personability of it. Right?
Okay.
You know, just kind of like talking to someone and have a conversation. Listening is a big part of retail. And that separates the bad salesman from the good salesman and the great salesman, the ones who really listen to what their clients want.
Okay.
And not only listen, but, push them towards that direction and not try to like force them into something they don't want to do.
Yeah.
And I think it was maybe like 2 months of not doing very well. And then something just kind of, and I remember like being on the floor being like, is this for me?
Dang,
I had like a real kind of like deep, like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm the guy to do this and stuff like that. And it was just like a mental kind of turmoil.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna forget what I'm thinking. Just stick with it.
Yeah.
Keep grinding.
Yeah.
Eventually, maybe it'll click. Well, 4 months down the road, it started to click.
Nice.
My numbers started to kind of rise. And it was cool because every day they would have the numbers of everybody who's sold.
Oh,
so it was very competition based, and it was like, oh man, so and so did $5,000 today, and I did $1,200. I need to step it up. I need to sell more.
Yeah.
So it kind of really drove you in a good way.
That,
I think it's a really nice way to do it because it keeps it competitive, but it also helps build the team up.
Yeah.
And it helps guys kind of learn from the best.
Yeah.
And spin it to their own.
That's true.
To make it theirs.
Yeah.
And I basically kept growing and kept raising up to the top. And I ended up being one of the top salesmen in the store.
Nice.
And I remember I was dating my ex-girlfriend at the time, and she got a a scholarship for a school in Vegas.
Whoa.
And I was like, she kind of was like, hey, I'm going to go to Vegas. We can break up or you can come with me.
How long had y'all been together? How long you all together?
Yeah, maybe like a year. It wasn't like super serious, but it was like enough to where I was like,
yeah.
Hell yeah, I'll go with you to Vegas. That sounds fun.
Yeah,
like
I know, right?
I've got a ticket there because I can just transfer to this suit supply and it'll be great.
Okay.
And funny enough, the Dallas store did really well.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh man, I'm going to be doing really well in Vegas because it's going to be popping.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to Vegas and it was not. It was a very slow store. The numbers were really low. And I remember like feeling like, oh man, this kind of like was not what I was expecting it to be. But I really enjoyed the people I worked with in Vegas, the team. That was one of the cool things about Suit Supply is like whatever store I was at, you had a really cool team that you got to interact with every single day. We'd have meetings in the morning where we just kind of like hype each other up and explain things that we're doing wrong and, you know, teach us how to do things right. Yeah. It was just a really cool thing. I think Suit Supply did a good job of is just like having a really good team building aspect to it. And the Vegas team was really awesome. And I kind of got to take some of my knowledge and impart it onto them and kind of like build that store up a little bit. Yeah. And I remember she finished up school and she was like, I'm either going to do LA or New York. Whoa. And I was like, all right, well, I'm down for either. We got suit supplies in either one, so we can go wherever. It doesn't bother me.
Man, that's the nice thing about having that job, huh?
It was really cool.
Yeah.
It was a very, very fortunate and blessed to be able to have that opportunity to just go, I want to go here. Yeah. And I was a good enough salesman that they let me. Right. Because they were like, we know that wherever you're going to go, you're going to bring this mentality. You're going to bring this experience. Yeah. And you're going to really take it up there. Yep. So I remember she chose LA and I went and talked to my boss about it and told them I wanted to go LA. They picked out a store for me. It was all great. And I remember going home that night and I came home and every light in the apartment was on and she was vacuuming and and the TV was on and I was just like, this seems weird. Something's up. Yeah. And I was like, what's going on? And she was like, I think I want to do New York. I think I want to change my mind. And I was like, well, all right. I was like, I kind of wanted to do New York over LA. Right, so, I mean, this is kind of a good thing for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have too. Yeah.
And it was one of those things where I was like, okay, cool. Well, then let's do New York. Yeah. So that next day I went back and talked to my boss again. Yeah. And I was like, hey, I know we talked LA. Yeah. I was like, what's the chances I could do New York instead? Yeah. And it just so happens that they were opening it's called Brookfield Place. Okay. It was right next to Wall Street.
Whoa.
And it was in this really nice fancy mall that was right across the street from the World Trade Center on the water. And I was like, man, this would be so cool. Yeah. And I remember I remember just being like, her mom's sister's niece or whatever was like living in a house in the Bronx and had a room available. Yeah. And we were like, we're going to go there and do that. So I sold my car. She sold her car, sold all the furniture, bought a plane ticket, took my dog, and we went to New York. So
when you move to New York, you don't take your car, right?
No, I got rid of the car. I mean, the really cool thing about New York is the subway system. Yeah. It's very cool. It's like $100. I mean, I don't know what it is now. Yeah. But back then it was like $125 a month, and it was unlimited rides. Okay. You could go wherever you wanted, whenever you wanted.
$125 a month? Is that good?
That's pretty solid. I mean, it is, isn't it? Think about how much a car is.
You're right.
Think how much gas is.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And insurance.
For sure. Yeah.
And maintenance on the vehicle and tires. It really made it a lot cheaper. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Now learning the subway system was a little bit
hard?
more. It was like luckily I kind of stayed on the west coast of New York. Okay. The trains that ran to like the east side, east and west were a little bit more difficult.
Oh, I see.
I was just kind of on the 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Which made it really easy because the one was a local train that just hit every single stop. Okay. And then the 2 and 3 trains would be express trains where you would hit like one station and then skip 15 or 5 or 10 and then go to the next one and then skip and go to the next one. Yeah. When I was in the Bronx, I just took the one train all the way down. Okay. I learned that it was easier than getting off at an express station, having to wait for that train, because the waiting for the train was sometimes where it killed you.
Oh, I see.
Because sometimes you miss a train by like a minute and then you sit there for 15 minutes waiting for another train. Yeah. So I learned like that's kind of the part of the trial and error. I see. It's kind of like, okay, I'm just going to stay on I'll leave an hour and a half early for work and I'll just stay on the one train.
An hour and a half?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
an hour and a half.
I like to have extra time.
Yeah, that's
to
smart.
go get coffee,
Yeah.
go get, some breakfast or something
sure.
like that. So I gave myself extra time.
How was that experience? Dude, I bet it was cool.
It was incredible.
Yeah?
It was very fun. I really liked New York a lot, man.
That's awesome.
The energy of that city really just carried you. Like you'd get out of bed and you'd be groggy and tired and you wouldn't want to do anything. And then as soon as your feet like would hit that like pavement, that energy just like filled you and you would just go. Yeah.
Dude, I've never heard that before.
It was
That's a cool way of putting that.
It's very like almost you have to be there to feel it to know it.
Yeah.
But it was very much that sense of like once you had that energy behind you, it just carried you throughout the day.
Yeah.
Now obviously at the end of the day when you got home you were exhausted and that energy kind of like depletes a little bit, but then the next morning you just go right back to it again.
Fascinating.
So
I've always wanted to live either in New York, a big city, really New York, for like a year or two, maybe tops.
Yeah.
I mean, unless overall, did you really love it or were you ready to leave?
I really enjoyed it a lot.
Nice.
What's actually funny is that I lived in the Bronx for a year.
Yeah.
And I took that one train every time, got really good at just like downloading something on Netflix, throwing the AirPods in, just watching TV the whole time.
Yep.
The cool part about getting on the train early is you have a seat.
Oh, yeah.
But if you get on at like 42nd Street, like, Times Square or something like that, there's no seats. So you're standing.
Dude,
so you can, if you don't play your cards right, you could be standing for an hour on the train.
Dang, that's horrible.
So luckily I was up at the very north end of the Bronx and I would just sit on the train, like one of the first people on the train. I'd go all the way down to Rector Street, which was the very southern tip.
Okay.
And then I'd get off and I'd go and just basically walk to work.
Yeah.
So
what would you usually do for breakfast and stuff?
Man, it's Starbucks. You know what I mean? There was a Starbucks that was right across the way from our shop. So it was just like, they knew me by my name after a while, especially coming in with the suits and stuff like that. They'd be like, oh, hey, it's you. What you were getting you getting the usual? And I'd be like, yeah, I got you, man. So
is it true that, how are the people? Is it true that they're, a little more rude? Or they're not like here, obviously, but what was that like?
There's reality, but I think there's a misconception with New Yorkers being rude.
Yeah.
I think what it is New Yorkers are busy.
Yeah.
And they're busy in their mind. Because a lot of the times you're planning out your route and you're thinking about where you're going to go and you're thinking about what you're going to do that day. And there's just not a lot of time to sit around. In Texas, especially in West Texas here in San Angelo and stuff like that, it's very slow paced.
Exactly.
There's not much going on. You could sit and talk for 25, 30 minutes and
that's right.
you're not really, intruding on anyone's day.
Yeah.
But whenever it's like, I got to get on this train, I got to hit this train to this train, I got to hit this train to this train to this train, then you kind of start to go, oh, they're not rude.
Yeah.
They're actually just really busy.
Like you said, in their head, like planning where they got to get off the
exactly.
Dude, that's
and
really
I actually
good.
have really good examples of how living in New York just for 3 years, I would have people in the subway stand up for me whenever like, a homeless person would be on the train, trying to start shit or something like that. There would be New Yorkers that go, hey, leave him alone. Get away from him. Yeah. Yeah. So it's almost like this camaraderie in the New York sphere, which people don't really get because a lot of times when you go, you're a tourist.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like, tourists, whatever,
Yeah.
But once you live there, you kind of start to go, that's not a tourist.
Whoa.
That's someone that's here all the time.
Uh-huh.
Or this is my commute and I see this dude every day because he's on his commute.
Yeah.
And we're kind of like right next to each other because we're always on the commute together.
Yeah.
And we're always kind of going to this to speak. The cool thing I thought about New York was like on the subway, you could have 7 conversations in different languages going on.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because there's just
amazing.
So much, it's a big melting pot of just all these cultures and all these different backgrounds. That was really cool because I would have these cool conversations with people I never would have had conversations with in Texas.
That. Yeah.
And it was something that I really I didn't take for granted.
Yeah.
Every day I was just like, man, this is such a really cool experience to be able to do this. I remember one really specific experience that like sticks out to me. There was a Polish family and it was a husband, a wife, and 2 daughters. And one daughter was like 17 and one daughter was like maybe 13. And I was on the train. I had my AirPods in. I was sitting back just watching and I could kind of see in the corner of my eye they were there and stuff like that. And I noticed that the younger daughter got off at the train, but they didn't. Okay. And then the train door shut and we took off. And the daughter's sitting there and they start panicking. And no one around him was really paying attention, but I was like, I got Southern in my heart, Texan by blood.
Right,
so I was kind of like, let's just like see if I can help.
Yeah.
Right? Why not? It's not hard because I just know, hey, get off at the next stop, go across the street,
okay.
get back on the train, call your daughter,
Yeah.
tell her, and I did this. I said, call your daughter,
Wow.
tell her to sit where she is.
Uh-huh.
I was like, you guys can follow me. I'll take you
Wow,
right back to
that's
where she
cool.
is.
Yeah.
So I did. I took him. We got off at the next stop. I took him up. We went across the street. We went back down. We got back on the train. We found the daughter. We got back up. We went back across, and we kept going. And I was
Yeah?
like, they were like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. We
That's
really
cool,
appreciate
man.
it. And they
Yeah.
were like, you're in a nice suit. Like, what do you do? And they thought I worked on like, finance or something. And I told them I worked at Suit Supply.
Yeah.
And they were familiar with Suit Supply because they were
Nice.
Polish. And in,
Oh,
in Europe,
cool.
it's kind of
Yeah.
a bigger thing
Yeah.
because of Amsterdam and everything, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, well, where are y'all headed? And they're like, we're going to the World Trade Center. And I was like, that's basically one stop away from mine. I was
Nice.
like, I'll literally take you there. It's
Yeah.
not a problem at all.
Yeah.
I can even get off there and walk. It's not an extra 2-3 blocks for me. I don't care.
Right.
And so we did. And I got him to World Trade Center.
Cool.
And it was kind of cool. I was
That's
like,
amazing.
man, I really
Yeah.
helped out that family, and it was cool.
Yeah.
Well, like
Wow.
2 weeks later, my boss calls me
Mhm.
and he was like, hey, did you help out
What?
a family like
Yeah.
2 weeks ago or something? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, Foca called.
Who's that?
Foca's the owner of Suit Supply,
Oh.
right? The guy that I met.
No.
He
Yeah.
called, and I guess whoever had reached out, the guy that was
Dude.
Polish, the husband, was some big corporate guy. And
No.
he got in touch with Suit Supply
That's
and was
so
like,
sick.
this guy is one of your best people. He helped us, and he didn't even
my
have to.
gosh.
And
That is
they
the
were
coolest
like,
story
it was
ever.
so cool to come full circle like that. I was
Yeah.
like, man, that's just like straight karma right
That
there.
is like instant karma, you know.
It was very cool. So I
That's
was like, man, that is
amazing,
so
dude.
awesome. And
And so what did he say? They were just.
I
like,
mean, he
very
got on the phone
appreciative
with me, and he was just
did?
like, yeah. And he was
Wow.
just like, man, thank you so much for representing our company that way,
Absolutely.
and you really, made us look good for him, and I really
Yeah.
appreciate that. And I was like, you're very welcome. And I was like,
Absolutely.
I've just done what anybody would have done
Yeah.
if they would have seen something like that happen. I
Exactly.
mean, the panic on the father's face and the
Yeah.
mother's face, the panic on the little girl that was like, we were going away from,
Oh,
and she
you
was
saw
just
that
like,
too?
oh, dude, yeah, I
Yeah.
saw everything. So it was just, that's why I was like, I got to help these people
That's
too.
so
So
cool, dude.
it was
Yeah.
very cool. And it was cool that it came back and
Yeah,
they
it
found
was.
out about it and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it
What if
was-
he was like, and I want to bless you with a $100,000 bonus.
yeah, right. That'd have
would've
been
been
wild.
awesome.
That'd have been
Yeah.
wild. Yeah.
That's cool though.
But I mean, I didn't even need it. It was
Yeah,
it was
dude.
more along
No,
the lines
yeah.
of just helping that person.
Absolutely.
It was a cool bonus that got back to him,
Yes,
and that
it was.
I got to receive that phone call and
Yes.
everything. But yeah, man, it was a really good time. I
How
really
was
enjoyed
the,
New
The
York.
store there was it?
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was right next to Wall Street.
Nice.
So, you'd be sitting there at like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and it'd be kind of dead. And then this guy would just come in on his lunch break, and he'd be like, hey, I need 3 gray and 3 blue suits right now.
Whoa,
And I'd be
really?
like, all right, 42 regular. Here's this. Go try that on. Go throw those pants on. And then I'm taking 3 suits,
Yeah.
laying them down, 3 ties, 3 shirts, putting it all out,
Yeah.
making it look nice and presentable for him.
Okay.
He's like, this fits great. I pin up the pants. We're good to go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, look, by the way, I put all these out for you already. These are some different outfits that you can put together. I made sure they're
nice.
versatile
Yeah.
so you can close your eyes and get ready and it's going to work.
Nice.
And he was like, here's my card, $5,000. Boom, done. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So it was
yeah.
very cool.
That's how they buy suits there. huh?
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. Here's my
Dude,
card
yeah.
and run it. And
Yeah.
and it was very, very cool.
Wow.
I got to meet some really cool people. My last name is actually Goldsberry.
Yeah.
So some of my Jewish clients that I really loved, I would have a really good
you
experience
Jewish?
with them. I actually am not.
Okay,
I'm Native
yeah.
American.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah. Chickasaw.
Oh,
Chickasaw.
really?
Yes, sir.
Like what percentage or whatever? You know?
Enough to have a card. I'm card carrying.
Wow,
I have a
amazing.
Chickasaw ID and
Very
everything with
cool,
the
dude.
tribe.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
And having this really cool interaction with one of these Jewish clients, and then like hand them my card at the end, and they look at it and be like, you, and I just be like, hey,
That's
'cause
funny.
I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I'll be whatever you want me to, man, for sure.
That's hilarious.
So
Yeah.
it was definitely a very
That's
cool
great.
experience to work there and
Yeah.
and meet all those cool people.
Yeah.
I still have clients that I'm friends with on Facebook that I check in with and stuff like that. Check in with me. So
So
it's-
why did you go from there to San Angelo? Or did
yeah.
you?
So basically, November 19, me and that ex-girlfriend actually just amicably broke up. We were just kind of like, hey, I think we're just better off as friends.
Yeah.
And she was like, I kind of feel the same way. And I was like, cool, let's just do that. And
Whoa.
we split up, and I was in that apartment. By the way, I went from the Bronx to Manhattan.
Whoa.
Had a 375 square foot apartment.
No way.
This is a little shoebox. It was right off of 109th Street in Broadway.
375 square feet. That's like
It's
this
probably
room,
the size
right?
of this room, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a little bit bigger, but not much.
Yeah.
$19.80 a month.
Dang, dude. Really?
Yeah. So it was
But
like,
you were in Manhattan.
yeah.
That's cool.
So it was cool. I lived in this really cool brownstone, beautiful old building. You know,
Wow.
really cool characters that would just like have lived there their whole lives and would just hang out on the stoop, and I'd walk by and they'd be
So
like,
cool,
look, it's the
dude.
suit guy. I'd be like,
Yeah.
hey, what's up?
Yeah.
And, you know, this guy
Wow.
named Jay,
Mhm.
his whole family was from, that Manhattan area.
Uh-huh.
He was actually grandfathered into his rent.
Oh.
So his rent was super low
Whoa.
because he had
really?
lived there. So his family had lived there
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
long.
Yeah.
So it was a really cool, like, institution of that building was
Yeah.
like Jay. And
Oh,
Jay had
wow.
this dog named Chase, and
Uh-huh.
Chase didn't have a leash.
Yeah.
His little Shih Tzu,
Yeah.
the sweetest dog ever,
Yeah.
no leash, and would just be chilling on the street.
Really?
Yep,
Oh,
never
that's
moved,
cool.
just
Yeah.
hung out on the stoop with,
That's awesome,
you know,
dude.
we'd hang
Yeah.
out and chop it up and stuff. And I still call Jay from time to time, check up on him and
Dang,
Chase
that's
and stuff
cool.
like that.
Is it common for people to hang out outside like that on the stoop, like you're saying?
You know, it is in certain situations. In certain
Okay,
situations,
yeah.
it isn't. I mean, it's definitely more common than San Angelo.
Yeah.
I'll say that
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure, or Dallas or anything like that. I
Right,
think it's
yeah.
definitely more like that New York blood
Yeah.
to it, that New York essence that kind of
Exactly.
is with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was just like again, just going back to
That's
like
amazing.
meeting really cool people.
Yeah.
And keeping those connections and
Yes.
being able to follow up with them and
Uh-huh.
and be like, yo, man, I haven't talked to you in 8 years. How are you, man? And he's like, yo, Zach, what's going
Yeah.
on? You know, it's just it's really
Yeah.
cool to keep that kind of connection with those people.
It is. Yeah.
And yeah, I kind of like November 2019, like I was saying, I was like, do I want to keep spending this money on this rent?
Mhm.
I'm by myself now.
Yeah.
You know, her and I were splitting everything down the middle
Mhm.
the whole time. So going from that to having all the responsibility
Yeah.
was like, oh man. And I made decent money, but it was like a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure. So I was
I meant
like,
to ask you,
yeah.
were you making commission to
yeah,
like
yeah.
a base salary?
So
or
yeah,
something?
you were at you were an hourly pay, and then whatever commission you did for the whole month,
Mhm.
they would give you a percentage of that.
Okay.
As like an end of the month check.
Gotcha.
So it was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good for sure.
Yeah.
Wasn't the most money I ever made, but it was good money
Yeah.
for sure.
For sure. yeah.
And it was one of those things again, going back to that like deep down self thinking, like that self introspection of like, do I want to keep staying here?
Yeah.
You know, when you have a 375 square foot apartment
Mhm.
and you're with someone, it's kind of cute and it's kind of
Right.
cuddly, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then when you're alone,
Yeah.
it's a lot more. You're just you and your dog. It's
Yeah.
like, oh man, this is kind of
I
it's
know,
kind of
right?
sad. You know,
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm a pretty big introvert. I don't really go out a whole bunch. I
yeah.
did somewhat, especially
Yeah.
with friends and stuff like that, because I wanted to have that New York experience.
Yeah.
But not every day. And
Right.
clubs and bars are super expensive. You
Oh,
know,
yeah, I bet.
$25 for a drink and stuff like
Yeah.
that gets real expensive fast.
Oh yeah.
So I was always staying at home and stuff like that, trying to save money.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And so I I went back to Dallas
Mhm.
and they let me transfer back over to that suit
Oh
supply.
yeah. You went back to that same store.
Yeah, I went back to the
Cool.
original store, which is
Yeah.
really cool because it was kind of full circle, like
Yeah.
4 years later, coming back, and then people being like, yo, that's the guy. Like, he
Yeah.
opened this
I
place,
know,
and,
dude, yeah.
and all these rookies are like,
yeah.
yo, you
You're
dress
like
so
a legend.
cool.
You're the New York guy. You went off to New York.
I,
and-
I basically became that
You
all-star
did?
that I looked up
Oh,
to
no way.
full circle from that suit school that I
That's
went
so
to.
cool,
You remember how I was
dude.
saying, like, man, that guy
Yes.
was so dressed well and
Yep.
put together and knew his stuff. I had become that. And
This
it
is
was
cool, man.
It was a very cool, like, full circle.
Yeah.
Like, these rookies are coming up to me going,
I love this.
oh, teach me. How do you do this? How
Yeah.
do you work with customers so well? How do you get guys to know your name?
Uh-huh.
Like, because I had learned and I
Wow,
had
dude.
mastered my craft in certain
Yes.
circumstances and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I went back and then COVID happened.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was right around the corner when you were saying
Literally,
Yeah.
literally. So,
Dang.
and then I got put on furlough
Mm.
and it was like I was getting 6 hours a week.
Whoa.
And I had gotten an apartment. What's funny is when I went back, I told myself, my dad offered me a room at his house.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, son, come back and stay here. You don't have to pay rent.
Cool. Yeah.
And I went from paying $19.80 to $0. And I was like, oh, I'm going to save up for like 6 months.
Yeah.
And I'm going to like have all this money. I'm going to buy a house. I had all these like ambitions, right? I lasted about, you go from being on your own in New York to living back in your, under your father's roof.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh man, I need more space than this. I need more freedom than this, right? So I lasted about like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to get an apartment. And so after on one of my lunch breaks, actually, I went across the street and I just went to this high-rise building and I was like, hey, I'm looking for an apartment, you know, show me what you got. How much is it and stuff. This beautiful 1-bedroom apartment, 3 times the size of the apartment in New York. It's like $1,400 a month.
Whoa.
And I was like, sign me up. I was like, I was paying so much. I was like, I'll take it. Sign me up. And so I was living there and then I got put on furlough. Yeah. And it was like, oh shit, I can't afford this. Like, what am I going to do? So I was like, I got to pivot. I got to do something else. Right. So I mean, it got to the point where the store was closed. And since I was closest to the store, they would let me open the store and I would have appointments.
Okay.
But it wasn't driving sales like it was when it was, you know, just that flow of traffic when the store was just open to the public. Yeah. So I was like, I need to do something else. I got to pivot. So I actually went back and started working for Lucky Brand at the Galleria. Yeah. Because they were open. Yeah. Technically an essential job. The mall was still open and stuff like that. Yeah. So I ended up doing that. Well, actually, I got put on furlough for like a couple months. Okay. And then once it kind of, the restrictions got let up a little bit, then I went to, I left Suit Supply and then just went to like working at the mall. And you
left Suit Supply completely?
Yeah. Whoa. I was, you know, there was one of the managers that I was working with and stuff like that left, and we got a new manager. Yeah. And that's one thing I've learned in 15 years of retail is management makes a huge difference.
Oh, I bet. Just like the restaurant
especially
industry.
Like a good manager versus like a kind of like, not a bad manager, but just not as good of a manager, not as personable, not as empathetic, right? Exactly. Empathy is a huge thing for management, and if you don't have it, you know, you're going to lose a lot of your good people.
That's right.
And it was just one of those things, and I was just like, I'm gonna say, you know, part my ways. It was like 6 years. I had gotten to live a really cool life and experience because of it. Yeah. Super grateful to Suit Supply, even to this day. Yes. You know, I appreciate everything that they did for me, and appreciate all of the confidence they had in me and stuff like that. So that was really cool. One more cool thing about Suit Supply. I remember one day, it was when I was working in the Wall Street location at Brookfield Place. Yeah. And they were like, hey, we're having a corporate visit. And there was like this other room, and they were like, they want to talk to you in there. And I was like, oh, what do they want to talk about? That's kind of weird. And I was in the middle of working with a client too. And my manager, Thomas, was like, hey, I'll take care of this. They want you over there. Go over there. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, I walk in and there's like 25 people in a big circle. Whoa. And I walk into the circle, and then they all just started clapping. What? And they were like, we just want to say how awesome of a person you've been for this company. Wow. It was just a really cool way to like,
that is amazing.
Get feedback from the company that I put so much into. Yeah. You know, years and years of my life of growing it and stuff like that. So that was a really cool experience.
That is
Again,
really cool, dude.
Super grateful for everything Suit Supply did for me. The experiences I got to have because of them, I would have never had if I had not taken that jump.
That's right.
And that's why I tell people all the time, like, hey, you got to take that jump. Sometimes it's scary. Yeah. And sometimes you don't know what's going to happen, but sometimes it can be things that are life-changing.
That's right, man. Yeah.
And so I basically just kind of like, after that time with them, I kind of left and worked at the mall for a little bit. And then on LinkedIn, yet again, this gentleman named David reached out to me and told me he was interested in hiring me for a company called Fendi. Yeah. And I don't know what Fendi was. I was like, oh, okay, what's Fendi? Right. I don't even know. And they were like, well, we're going to interview you. What do you think? Are you interested? And I was like, I mean, I guess I mean, maybe. I don't even know what it is and stuff. So I started doing all these interviews, and I started learning that it was like a really big Italian company, and that like it was a very high end, you know, your Gucci's, your Louis Vuittons, your Fendi's. Yeah, it was like that elevated. And I had never been to that next step. Yeah. there's fast fashion like Zara.
Okay.
Then there's the
Yeah.
middleman like Suit Supply that kind of gets creeping more into that high end, and then there's the high end retail that's like your Gucci's and your
Zara
Louis.
is fast fashion?
I would call Zara fast fashion, yeah.
Whoa.
Where basically you go in and it's like you can shop yourself and
Yeah,
it's pretty
okay.
quick paced
Yeah.
and you just go to the register and pay.
Yeah.
It's not really a curated experience,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
So that was kind of like
Wow.
the step from working at Kenneth Cole was fast fashion.
Right.
And then Suit Supply, moving to that was a little bit more high end.
I see. Okay.
And then Fendi, I soon to learn
Uh-huh.
that was even higher end than the Suit Supply
Okay.
that I had known.
Yeah.
And I went through like 3 months of interviews.
Whoa.
It was a long time. And I remember being like, man, if I don't get this, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to afford my next like rent because I've been like,
Yeah.
you know, trying to interview for this for so long. And
That's crazy.
there's a lot of interviews. And
Yeah.
finally they gave me the job.
Wow.
And the craziest part, Matt, was I thought I was going to be selling suits.
Yeah.
Right? They told me women's handbags at the very end after everything was done.
serious?
And I was like, women's
What?
handbags?
Yeah.
I'd never sold a
Oh,
woman's handbag in my life. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing. And then
It's like
I started.
a joke almost.
Yeah.
After all those interviews for
Yeah,
3
like
months.
I was like, I thought for sure I was going to be selling suits.
Yeah.
And it was women's handbags.
wow.
Matt, I had no idea
Yeah.
what type of money
Oh, dude.
Was
I bet.
in high-end luxury handbags.
Yeah.
So I started doing this research on it, and they give me all this, you know, it's a lot of studying.
Mhm.
There's all these different types of bags, certain ways to wear those bags. Obviously, I'm a straight man. I'm like, I don't know how to wear women's handbags. So I'm
Yeah.
like learning and just same way I did suit school,
Yeah.
I applied to Fendi's handbags.
Wow, yeah.
And I learned. And
Dang.
I actually worked for a boutique in the mall in North Park Mall
Oh, yeah.
in Dallas, which is
Yeah.
a pretty high end mall.
Yeah.
And I remember the first day being like, "What am I doing? Like, I don't even know." And then I started this really awesome girl named Leslie.
Uh-huh.
It was her and David by themselves in this boutique.
Wow.
So and it was like right next to the women's shoe department in Neiman Marcus. So it was like a handbag boutique inside of a Neiman Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
So I was basically working in a Neiman Marcus, but for Fendi.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was just a really cool experience because like you'd have Fendi and Prada and Louis and
Dang.
Balenciaga and Gucci, all of them
Yeah.
all kind of in like what we call handbag row.
Okay.
It's kind of like death row, but handbag row.
Yeah. Wow.
So it was really cool to kind of learn that program.
Yeah.
And then I realized the handbags were like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $7,000, $8,000.
Yeah.
And I was like,
So crazy. Yeah.
this is wild.
Yeah.
How am I going to sell these bags?
Yeah.
And then I realized the bags sold themselves
Really?
for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of, my pitch was kind of like a lady would come in and it was like all roped off. So it's
Yeah.
very like curated niche
Yeah.
experience of like,
Right.
you want to come in?
Exclusive.
Here
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
I'm opening it for you and I'm shutting it behind you. And now we're in
Whoa.
the sphere of Fendi. And now I'm going to show you the bags and we're going to talk about the peakaboos, which was like
Yeah.
the highest end bag they had and stuff
What?
like
They're
that.
called peekaboos?
Peekaboo.
Why?
Yeah, yeah.
What is that?
The bag is it's got 2 locks on both sides.
Yeah.
And when you unlock one side, it kind of the bag itself drapes down
Yeah.
and there's a different color on the inside of the bag. And that's the
Whoa.
peekaboo aspect.
Cool.
And there's a
dude.
whole bunch of different they have, you know, $650 like Python like inserts that go
Oh.
inside the bag so that you can like have that peekaboo of Python.
Oh.
So it was very, very
Dude, my
like
girlfriend is she's gonna love
dude.
this interview.
She will.
You don't understand. Like I've never met anyone.
Big handbag advocate.
I mean, fashion in general,
Yeah.
just fashion in general. I mean, her whole family's that way, but she is gonna love this, dude. But I meant to ask you, what's the big the handbag that's like the most exclusive that are like $30,000 that you have to get on a waiting list? What are those called? Some of the B, I think, or something.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah. Can I get water?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember because you know,
Birkin.
she knows. Yeah, that's what it
Birkin
is.
bags.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, Birkin
So,
bags. Yeah.
Birkins are one of our biggest competitors.
Really?
Yeah, they were one of our biggest competitors because they were the bag. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And Chanel
Yeah.
was another big bag
Yeah.
that competed with ours.
Mhm.
So when I'd have a lady come in and they'd be like, why do I pick this bag over y'all's bag,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
you'd be like, I made this up, and I'd be like, I want you to leave the store
Mhm.
and go take a lap around the mall
Mhm.
and go look at all the handbags you see
Mhm.
and count how many Gucci bags you see, count how many Louis bags you see,
That's good.
and count how many Fendi bags you
That's
see.
so good.
And they would come back like in
So
40
good.
minutes, and they'd be like,
Dude.
I didn't see any Fendi bags hardly.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's the difference.
That's right. That's
Gucci
good.
and Louis are real big on monogramming.
Yeah.
And like kind of like this, right? Like
Right.
where the very monogram
Exactly.
patterns, Gucci everywhere, Louis everywhere.
Yep.
Fendi's very
Very subtle.
subtle.
That's
It's very
cool.
like a quiet luxury,
Yeah.
right? It's more like if you know, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only Fendi that's really on it is on the lock. There was like a little
Whoa.
Fendi on there, and that was the only way you would really know unless you knew the bags.
Yeah.
And that was a big way for me to
That's
sell those
good.
bags.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked really
That's
well.
nice. Yeah.
And being really good
Yeah.
and selling a lot of handbags.
Yeah. I bet
And,
you could sell anything, dude.
I probably could if I tried.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, you're
if I put my
salesman.
mind to it and studied
Absolutely.
it and had time with it, I probably could.
Yeah.
I ended up doing, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this number, but like in the year and a half I worked, I did about $2.4 million in sales. Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
It was pretty wild. And I was like
You
making
make
more
commission
money
for it.
than I ever made in
Oh,
my
yeah.
life. Yeah, it was good money. And I was just like, this is crazy. But at the
Yeah.
same time,
Yeah. Wow.
it goes with a lot of stress.
Really? How
And a
come?
lot of, so you have your phone and then you have a Fendi phone.
Dang.
And then on your Fendi phone, you have all your clients and they want you to do a certain amount
What?
of reach outs and they want you to do a certain
No.
amount of, yeah. So it got to be really,
wow.
got to be a lot. And I
Yeah.
called it
That's crazy.
I call it the text message graveyard because
Yeah.
when someone comes into the store,
Yeah.
they're down to buy a bag.
Right.
But when
Yeah.
you're texting them about it,
Yeah.
it's a whole different ballgame of like, who are you? Leave me
Oh,
alone.
wow,
I don't
yeah.
want to buy that, you know? So I
yeah.
would send all these messages out and I would
Wow.
tweak things and say things differently and try to get,
Oh,
you know,
man.
and it would just not work.
Yeah.
And I would have like this whole list of things. And then I started feeling kind of like,
Dang.
can I do any more than I'm already doing?
Right.
And
yeah.
and I really appreciate everything Fendi did for me, but it was very much like, we need you to do more, Zach.
Whoa.
We need you to do more. And it was like, there's a lot of pressure. And I was like,
yeah.
you know, I don't know if, and I didn't,
Wow.
I learned, Matt, that I didn't have the passion for it
Yeah.
that I did
okay.
for suits.
Yeah.
With suits, I get to wear them. I get to
Mhm.
feel that
That's
confidence in
right.
how I wear them, you know?
Yep.
With the women's handbags, there was like a disconnect.
Yeah.
I still appreciated it because I was making commission on it.
Right.
And I still appreciated seeing a woman's smile whenever they got a bag that they
Yeah,
really
for
cared
sure.
about.
Yeah.
But it was a disconnect for me.
Yep.
And it was kind of one of those things, we go back to it again. I'm very into self-introspection.
Yeah.
And it was like, is this what you want to do?
Yeah.
Is this what we want to do? Right.
Yeah.
And it was like one of those things that I just kind of was like, I think I need to step away from this.
Yeah.
It was the most money I ever made in my life,
Mhm.
but it taught me that money wasn't everything.
That's right.
I was,
Yeah.
you know,
Wow.
I had a ex girlfriend that was I'm not trying to put her on blast.
Yeah.
She's kind of had alcoholic issues.
Sure. Yeah.
And it got bad, real
Yeah.
bad. And it got a very stressful job, and you came home to a lot of stress at home,
dude.
and there was no balance, and it was just a
Yeah.
lot of stress all the time, and I felt really cornered, and I just kind of was like, I have to get away from everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I left Fendi,
Okay. Yeah.
and I left Dallas,
Yeah.
and I moved back to San Angelo,
Okay. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Makes sense.
and I was like, what am I going to do with myself? It was a very much like I'm back to square one. I went out and did all
I
this.
know.
I worked at Fendi. I made all this,
It's
I
crazy,
was
dude.
doing all these highs, and then I
Yeah.
like found myself back in San Angelo, and I was like,
Oh,
wow, this is kind of like wild. I did not expect myself back
I
here.
know.
And
Yeah.
I took a break from retail because
Yeah.
I was at retail for a long time. Well, I took a break from clothing retail,
Okay.
and I
yeah.
actually started working at Headhunters.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah. I actually
Wow.
helped. I was one of the
Which
first
location?
people, the main one,
On Avenue Inn?
Yes, sir.
Really?
Oh, no.
No,
main
I'm
one off
sorry.
of Sherwood.
Sherwood's the one.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the one.
Right next to that neighborhood Walmart.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Wow.
I got a job there.
Uh-huh.
And lo and behold, I was good at selling.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah,
it was, I was back right to it. And it was much more relaxed.
Yeah.
At Fendi, I had a uniform.
Yeah, I bet.
And every single day.
Uniform?
Well, it kind of was one of the reasons that pushed me out. Because when I first started at Fendi, it was navy suit,
that's cool.
black t-shirt,
Yeah.
real comfortable.
Yeah.
And I liked wearing a suit. I looked good in it, and I could sell in it. Well, this new gentleman took over for Fendi's, I don't know how to explain it, but basically he took over for their creative, creative director. I'm sorry, that's the word.
Yeah.
The creative director actually took over, and they switched up the uniforms on us.
Okay. Yeah.
And I had to start wearing like this sweater vest.
Oh.
And like a utility belt.
What?
With like the Fendi phone on it, and I didn't feel as confident.
Yeah, that's lame.
And they made me pull my hair back.
Really?
Yeah, and that was actually from the very beginning. They didn't let me have my hair down.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of got tired of not being able to be me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was making a lot of money, and it was great.
Right.
I was able to give myself a life.
Yeah.
And everything, a really nice life. But it was like, there's a disconnect with the handbags and me.
Yep.
There's a disconnect with me and this outfit and this confidence that I don't have anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, I enjoyed the smoke shop because it was Headhunters was very much like wear whatever you want.
Yeah.
Wear what was creative. And I really got to dive into my casual outfits and really kind of like work on like, oh, I like this and I don't like this.
That's cool.
And I kind of learned a lot about that from there.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
I worked at the Headhunters for a while. San Angelo has some colorful people.
Yeah.
And some of them, in El Patio Inn and stuff like that,
San Angelo has a meth problem.
Yeah,
That's what you're trying to say.
yes, San Angelo has a meth problem.
Yeah.
And I kind of just got tired of working with that clientele.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I knew,
man, you went from two completely different clientele.
I went from super high end, like Highland Park Village women that were spending thousands and thousands.
That's crazy, dude.
To like San Angelo meth heads and stuff.
That's so crazy.
It was a very, very crazy, like in like less than a couple months.
Let me ask you a question about that.
Yeah.
So it just kind of hit me that I think it's interesting. So working with the highest end clients there are almost.
Yeah, yeah.
And the lowest end people who have bad addictions, drug problems on the streets.
Absolutely.
What's one common denominator you found, even though because people are people?
Impatience.
Interesting.
That would be a big one. That would be a big one for sure. Because like no matter how much money you have, if you're not getting what you want, you're impatient. And
good,
and anger stems from that as well. So that was kind of and there was positives to a lot of it too. I'm not saying it was a negative experience all the time at the smoke shop or at Fendi. There was a lot of really cool people I got to meet.
For sure.
Really awesome experiences.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I can talk about it, but
anything you want to talk about.
I mean, contractually obligated by Fendi. I mean, it's been a while since I worked there, so I think it's probably fallen off by now.
Right.
But I had this really cool appointment with a billionaire.
Whoa.
It was an Indonesian cigarette king's wife.
Oh, wow.
So this guy who owned a cigarette company in Indonesia, his wife was a billionaire, and this this personal shopper from Houston actually shopped with me at Fendi, loved my vibe, and was like, I want you to lead this sale with this client of mine. Dang, so I remember at Fendi, like coming in on a day off.
Yeah.
And hilariously enough, it was a day where my ex and I were moving from an apartment to a house, a townhome.
Okay. Yeah.
And had the day off to help her move.
Right. Yeah.
And then they were like, this is the day for the appointment with this person. So you're going to have to be there.
Yeah.
And I had to explain to her, like, I'm so sorry. Like, this could be a big sale for me.
Yeah.
This could be a big sale for us.
Yeah.
Like, this is just something that I'm going to have to do, and I can help whenever I get off and stuff. And
was she cool with it? Or?
Yeah, she understood. Yeah. Because, at the end of the day, the Fendi bags were paying the bills.
Exactly.
So, and she understood that. And it was one of those things where it was like, I went on a day off at 7:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. I made a spreadsheet of all the bags we were taking because we were at the Neiman Marcus in like the uptown or like, downtown area or uptown area. And the appointment was at the downtown Neiman Marcus, the original Neiman Marcus.
Okay.
Right.
See. Yeah.
So we had to bring all of these bags.
Oh.
I wish I could show video or pictures of it. Cause
if you do, I'll put them in right here. I can put them.
Oh, really?
Right, yeah.
But yeah, basically it was, there was like a stack of boxes and I was doing all this prep work to make sure it was ready and we knew what we were taking.
Yeah.
And then we took it there and it was like, okay, this person's showing up at 11:30, 12 o'clock. So just have the room ready. It was like 10 o'clock. So I was getting the room ready. And when you get the room ready, a lot of these bags are crocodile.
Whoa.
So you have to wear special gloves.
Why?
Because the oils in your hands will rub off and change the color of the bag.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. They're very, very hot. These are like $30,000 bags and stuff like that. Yeah, same as Birkins, kind of. I mean, Birkin crocodiles are like hundreds of thousands. But
Dude,
it was like one of those things where it was like, this is the big time for me, right? This is the first time I've like had a $1 billion client. I got to make sure I'm not messing it up.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and as a Fendi person, you have to like, there's these little like ribbons that are called wrappies.
Yeah.
And you have to like tie them properly around the handle of the bag and make pretty bows.
Yeah.
So I'm like getting all this stuff ready, making this room ready. It took me like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Room's finally ready. And the lady gets there and they're like, well, she's going to have lunch. So you guys just kind of hang out. And then whenever she's ready, she'll come. Yeah. We sat there till 3:30. And it was like, oh man.
Wow.
Now I'm like texting my ex, like, oh, I'm so sorry.
That's
like
horrible.
we're sitting here, we're waiting. As soon as I'm out, I promise.
Yeah.
And she finally was ready, and it was like a movie. This lady like walked around the store with like 4 people behind her, and she was just, I want this, I want this, give me this, give me this, give me this. Yeah, it was like a straight up like Devil Wears Prada movie.
Yeah.
It was very much like that, and I was just like, man, this is like insane.
Yeah.
And she walks in the room that I had spent all that time preparing, and she was like, hate it, love it, hate it, love it. And then she sat down and they put some shoes on her to try on, and then she was out the room. It was that quick. It was maybe like 7 minutes of her in the room.
Really?
And she picked 3 bags.
Dang.
2 of them were crocodile bags.
Yeah.
And one was like a regular bag. It was like $4,000.
Yeah.
So it ended up being like a $70,000-$80,000 sale or something like that. So it was pretty crazy.
Dude.
That was one of the like moments of Fendi that I will never forget.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean?
dude.
I met a lot of clients, spent a lot of money, but that was one of the ones where I was like, man, I'll never forget this.
Did you interact with her at all?
Not really.
Yeah.
It was very much like you were there to discuss the bags and not her personal life.
For sure, yeah.
And like you didn't really talk to her with her name, and it was very different from the Suit Supply experience of the curation of me being the one to drive the sale and to talk to them and ask them questions and find. It was very much like cut and dry, plain. But I mean, hey, it was an $80,000 sale, $90,000 sale, so I was
dude.
I was super stoked with
crazy,
it. It was very, very cool. And that was probably the coolest thing from Fendi.
Yeah.
And then after I got tired of working at the smoke shop and everything, I was like, I want to go back to retail.
Yeah.
I miss menswear.
Yeah.
I miss suits. I miss the clientele of like helping them get outfits together. I miss instilling that confidence.
Yeah.
Like I just miss it.
Yeah.
And I went to Dillard. I put a suit on. And I went to the mall,
and
I just went to every store, and it was like, I'm looking for a job. You
Yeah.
want to hire me? I'm looking for a job. You
Yeah.
want to hire me? And just went to all these places. And then Dillard's was like, yeah, we need to hire this guy. And I remember, funny enough, the very first day when I was going in for all those different job applications and stuff, I walked past the corporate team of Dillard's.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
For a district, because I walked into the women's store. I didn't even know there was a men's and women's store.
Yeah.
That's how new I was to San Angelo, basically. And the mall and stuff.
Yeah.
And I walked right in between all of these, and you can tell corporate ladies.
Yeah.
They're really put together. They all have nice handbags. They all have clipboards. They're all in a big group paying attention to what's going on in the store. Like you can just tell. 15 years in retail,
For sure, yeah.
And I walked past all of them, and I remember getting looks.
Yeah.
And being like, they look like they might be interested in me working at this company.
Yeah.
And so I went to the men's side, and I talked to this guy named Joseph, and I was like, hey, I'm interested. Let me get an interview.
Yeah.
I'll nail it.
Yeah.
Like I want this.
Yeah.
And like 2 days later, they brought me in. This really nice lady, Heather. She's our operations manager.
Okay. Yeah.
Super sweet woman.
Nice.
I went to the interview and we just talked about like my past,
Really?
basically what we're doing now. I basically did that for the interview.
Yeah.
And she was like,
That's cool.
honestly, you already had, like an hour later, she was like, honestly, you already had the job. She's like, I just
Yeah.
really wanted to talk to you about Fendi and suit
Yeah.
supply and stuff and just learn about you. And
That's
I was like, well, that's awesome. I'm glad that I was able to, talk to you about it and give you some background on me.
Yeah.
And then I started working at Dillard's. That was in November of 23.
Yeah.
And I worked there for that first whole year when Jimmy was still there. So I just kind of was in the background. I wasn't really the suit specialist or anything. I knew how to do suits.
Yeah.
And I would sell suits on occasion, but I wasn't the suit guy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like one of those things that I was chilling. I was enjoying being back in menswear.
For sure.
I was enjoying just like something about working so long in it.
Uh-huh.
I have what I call tape measures for eyes,
Yeah.
where I can just look at
That's
a
so
neck and be
crazy.
like 18 and a half neck.
Is that what you think I have?
Yeah, probably. If I were to
think so.
guess.
I think you're right.
It's
Yeah.
probably close to that. 18
No,
and a
I think
half,
it is,
19
yeah.
maybe, something like that.
Yeah.
And you're probably like a 36 sleeve length. And
I don't even know, sadly.
I would guess you probably are.
Yeah.
But that skill helps you so much in the
It
menswear
does?
business.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you think about it, some people that don't know what they're doing and somebody comes and asks them for help, they have to try on a whole bunch of things
That's
before they
right,
get to the
yeah,
right thing.
Yeah,
If I
it's
kind of
annoying.
already know,
Yeah.
I can just be like 38 waist,
Right.
and then throw it on them, and then it fits.
Yeah.
30 length on the inseam. It
Yeah.
fits, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, how did you do that?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, I know how to do it,
That's cool.
And it was like
Yeah.
one of those things that I've taken that experience and I've made it like to the point where like I've mastered it, and I like can close my eyes basically and be like, I know exactly what you need.
Yeah.
Go try this on. It's gonna fit.
Yep.
And time after time, day after day, it happens all the time. A
Yep.
guy comes in, I tell him what size they are. They try it on. It fits great.
That's
It's-
amazing.
it's
You
been
know what?
really cool.
I can relate to that. So I'm also a strength and conditioning coach,
Ah,
personal
yeah,
trainer.
yeah.
And there's a couple ways to measure someone's body fat percentage, and one of them is with calipers. And there's a 9-point sample test that you do. You take 9 samples.
Yeah.
One on the calf, one on the quad, lower abdominal, oblique, the love handle area,
Yeah.
bicep, tricep, subscapular region.
Is that the thing where it like
chest.
pinches or
Yeah.
whatever? Okay, cool, yeah.
And then it's in millimeters, and then you add them up, and there's a little formula you do, and it gives you a pretty accurate number. But they say you have to have at least 1,000, and this is just a rough estimate, but like 1,000 different samples you have to do on different clients to get really good at it.
Yeah.
To where you can really do it the right way. But I got so good at that because I would literally do it with all of my clients, but also I would set up at different events, and I would offer free body fat percentage measurements just to get to talk to people, and people want to do that,
Absolutely.
And so-
Anything where you can offer it free
Right.
and get someone in the door, it's a big
It's a
it's a
good
big
thing.
help.
It is,
100%.
yeah.
And you're exactly right. It's like you've done it so many times
Yeah.
that the formula's in here.
Yeah. But not only that, now I can look at somebody and they're like, and I can tell them about what their body fat percentage
Without
is.
even using calipers,
Without
right?
even using them. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm usually like 1 to 2% off. It's so crazy.
It's
dude.
very cool.
So I believe that.
And it
Yeah.
builds trust.
Yeah, it does.
Right? Because then they're like, oh, this
Credibility.
guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm just
That's
gonna
right.
trust him.
Yes.
Because how else is he gonna know all this
Yeah,
stuff
exactly.
if he hasn't been doing this his whole life?
That's right.
Or at least
Yeah.
a while. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I think that's a really cool thing about it too, is when
It
you
is.
become like a master of that, it's like
Yeah,
you don't have to try as hard
Uh-huh.
because it just comes naturally.
Yep.
And people feel that.
They do.
They feel that authenticity.
For sure.
And they're like, oh man, this guy's the real deal.
Yep.
And I think that's
Yeah.
probably a huge help for you too. Whenever
It
you're
is.
finding
Yeah,
clients and you're
for
like,
sure.
what are you, 17% body fat?
Exactly,
And then
yeah.
you do all the tests and it's like 18. They're like,
Yep.
how did you do that?
Exactly, yeah.
It's very, very similar circumstances
Yeah.
for sure.
So Jimmy retired when?
Jimmy retired November of 24.
Oh,
So actually, funny enough,
Not
like
that
I was
long
working
ago.
with him, and December 23, he was like, "This is my last Christmas,"
Oh yeah.
and he had been there 24 years,
And that Dillard.
and that Dillard's,
Wow,
and then he
yeah.
worked at Sears in the mall for 27 years. So this man was at the mall
Wait, what?
for like 50 years at Sunset Mall. So
No way.
this man was like,
Is that true?
yeah, 100%.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and he was there when Hempfield Wells was a thing and all that.
I don't even know what that is.
It's an old department store that has
Dang,
moved on and stuff
dude.
like that. But
That's fascinating.
yeah, he was there a long time,
Yeah.
and everybody loved him.
Yeah, he was
he had
cool.
built a huge clientele
Yeah.
because everybody's from when they were kids to bringing their kids to bringing their grandkids.
Wow.
He's helped them. So that really was a cool way for him to.
Grandkids.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the man was
That's
a pro.
amazing,
He was a
dude.
pro.
Yeah.
And everybody loved him. You know, it was like, and people still come in all the time.
Did
Oh,
you-
you remember Jimmy? And I'm like,
yeah.
oh, I loved working with Jimmy. You know.
You knew a lot. I was going to ask you
Yeah.
if you were overqualified sort of for that, but I mean, did you learn anything from Jimmy? I'm sure you did.
Yeah, you know, I think I
certain ways.
learned how to handle West Texas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there you
I
go.
think that
Yeah.
helped a lot.
Right.
And because, you know, working
Yeah.
in Dallas and Vegas and
Uh-huh.
New York and back to Dallas, I had a lot of that
Right.
experience, but I didn't have a lot of small town
Yeah,
experience.
that's
That-
true.
That
Okay.
more like
That's
100,000. Very valuable.
Yeah.
Especially whenever it's like, you know, remembering husbands' names or
Yeah.
remembering kids' schools
That's
they
right.
went to and where they
Yep.
graduated, stuff like things like that. I think I picked up from him for
Dang.
sure.
Yeah.
And then I remember him being like, "This is my last Christmas," and I was like, oh, "Okay." And he was like, "I'm gonna quit tomorrow." And then he worked for that whole rest of that 2024,
Yeah.
and then November he's gone. We did a retirement
Yeah,
party for him, got him
that's
cake, got him punch,
Yeah.
did a whole setup.
Oh, yeah.
I'll show pictures too.
Yeah.
I got a good picture of him.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
and
Did
it
you
was
inherit his like clientele?
I kind of did.
Yeah.
Not to this extent that like they know me,
Right.
but they're showing up and
Yeah.
he's not there.
Right.
And now
yeah.
who's there?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Heather and Jane, the store manager, actually asked me, "Hey, we want you to step up and be the next
Nice.
Jimmy. We want you to be the
Yeah.
next tailored specialist."
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Right.
I'm the guy.
But do you think you'll be the next Jimmy, or do you think this will take you other places?
I don't know.
adventures?
I
You
just
don't
had
know?
a son.
You did?
Yeah, I just
Congrats,
had a son.
dude.
Thank you.
I have
Thank
a son
you.
too, man.
Nice, man.
When did you have a son?
The 11th.
Oh, you just
Had a son. Yeah. I was actually out of work for 2 weeks and just came back
Oh,
to
that's
work
awesome.
about last week.
Okay.
So yeah, his name's Rowan.
Nice.
Yeah,
Cool
little
name.
guy. Oh, we'll get a picture
Yeah,
for you to
yeah.
put up. But
Yeah.
he's awesome.
Man, that's cool, man.
My girlfriend and
yeah.
I are absolutely in love with him.
Yeah.
It's
I
been
love that.
a blessing. He's been I didn't realize how amazing it was going to be
Yeah, me neither.
until
yeah.
it really
Me
happened
neither,
to
yeah.
me, and then I was like, oh man, this is just like nothing else.
Yep.
Holding him
Yeah.
at 5 a.m. And that's the
Yeah.
other thing too, is when she was pregnant and stuff, I was thinking about all this, like, oh man, people say they're up all night, and
Uh-huh.
how am I going to do it? How
Yeah.
am I going to wake up and just
Mhm.
do it? And it just clicks.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
go, hey, this little man needs me.
Yeah.
He needs to be fed. I need to
Right.
feed him. And your body just gets up and does it. Because
Yeah.
I was never an early riser. I mean, I never got up before 10 a.m. basically. That's why I worked
Yeah.
retail.
Right.
Because,
yeah.
you know, most places don't open until 10.
That's
so
true, huh? Yeah.
I've, you know, kind of curated my life towards that
Yeah.
because I don't like waking up early.
Exactly.
Now I
Yeah.
got the little man. I'm up all the time
Yeah.
early, and it doesn't even bother me. You
Dude,
know,
wait
it's,
till he's like 3. Mine's like 3.5, almost 4.
oh man,
Oh, it's amazing.
oh dude,
It's
I can't
amazing.
wait till he's
Yeah.
actually talking.
Yeah,
and,
it's so crazy.
and just learning
It's so
and just
crazy,
being
yeah.
a sponge
Yeah,
and getting
it's
excited when you come
hilarious.
home.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, I'm so excited
Cool.
for it. But I mean, it's been a really really awesome job. He was
Yeah.
actually a NICU baby for about 5 days.
Really?
Yeah, he was tongue tied when he was born.
What does that mean? Isn't that just like where you have the yeah?
But
but
it was attached to the tip of his tongue.
oh,
So
okay.
in utero,
yeah,
you know, his tongue was always pulled down.
yeah,
And then whenever he was born, Dr. Sawyer, awesome pediatrician.
Yeah.
He came in like an hour after he was born. He was like, "Hey, he's tongue tied. We're gonna get some consent forms in here. We need to clip this
Mhm.
and nip it in the butt so that, you know, it's easier
Exactly.
for him to feed in the future." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bring me the consent. Let's do it."
for sure.
So
yeah.
we clipped him, and when that happens, the tongue muscle's really weak. So,
I
and they
bet.
use that to latch,
Yeah.
obviously. So he had a little bit of trouble feeding. So
Yeah.
he had to go to NICU and be
Okay.
in the feeding tube. The staff in NICU and the staff at Shannon
Yeah.
were so amazing.
Did you buy? So we have a
Yeah.
good friend, Ahmed. He does NICU. He's a doctor.
Is he
and-
the neonatal specialist?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah. He worked with me.
He's amazing.
yeah,
right?
he's so
Yeah.
awesome. Very nice
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, he's Lebanese, I think. His wife is. I think he is. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy.
He's a very cool guy. I
Yeah.
mean, the nurses there were so awesome.
Yeah.
My mom actually runs the bistro in the library.
Yeah,
And
cool.
she baked cookies for all of them, the Rocky
Yeah.
Road cookies, and
Nice.
we took them to the NICU and gave all
Yeah.
them cookies because they're taking care of all those little babies,
Yeah,
and they're
dude.
so helpless at that age.
That's
and,
right. Yeah.
And they do such a phenomenal job.
That's
And
cool.
they're, I mean, I didn't feel worried at all leaving him
Nice.
there
Yeah.
because it was like the safest place he could be.
Exactly.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was
Yeah.
like, these are experts at their field. They know everything about it. Like,
Yep.
I would be worried more me and her
Exactly.
taking care of him at home
For sure.
than like making sure he's good to go. So
Yeah.
he was in NICU for 5 days. He did a pretty good job at getting off of the feeding tube and everything. And then we got to take it. We roomed in for 2 days and they did a trial run with him and made sure he was good.
Okay.
Then we got to take him home.
Nice.
You know, as soon as we took Rowan home, he like something clicked. He
Yeah.
just started feeding way better.
Oh, cool.
He started sleeping better.
Yeah.
And it honestly, he never even really was a loud baby.
Wow.
Really quiet,
Yeah.
slept really well, would get kind of fussy, but like, you know, he's a great baby. We're very blessed.
That's
I have a
cool,
lot of my
dude.
friends and
Yeah.
stuff like that who have had babies that are colic
Oh,
and
I can't
things that
imagine.
really,
Yeah.
you know, can make things a little bit more
Yeah.
stressful for the parent. And
Yeah.
we are just so blessed that he was been as healthy as he has
Yeah.
been, and it's
That's
been awesome, man.
Yeah.
And now, you know, I'm the suit guy,
Yeah.
the tailored specialist at Dillard's.
I love it, man.
We started actually when Jimmy retired in November.
Mhm.
Alton Lane
Mhm.
brought their custom program to us here at Dillard's.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And I took that and ran with it
Yeah,
because
I
I had
bet.
done custom for Suit Supply
Yeah.
and other small businesses that I worked on my own and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was like one of those things that it just kind of clicked. I just started introducing more and more people to it.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to say I think I've had like 175 clients so far.
That's amazing.
So,
yeah.
and I'm growing every day. I'm telling more and more people about it every
Yeah.
day. If you're watching this,
yeah.
you know, come
Exactly.
and get a
This'll
suit.
help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, man.
I
If you
can't wait to do
you
it.
got a wedding or an event
Yes.
coming up, it's a 2-week turnaround time,
Okay.
so it's really easy to get something
to
in
know.
time for it.
So
And
tell
we'll
us.
get you right, man, for
yeah,
sure.
we're going to.
Yeah,
What's
absolutely.
the process like? Do you have to make an appointment for it?
Yeah,
Like, how does it
so
work?
typically I just give out my business card with my personal cell on it.
Mhm.
They just shoot me. Actually, I had a guy today call me and was like, "Hey, we talked a while back. My name is blah blah blah. I'm
Mhm.
coming in. I have a wedding in October.
Yeah.
How long does I need to take?" And I'm like, "Well, let's do it mid-August.
Yeah.
You know, give us some time. So if anything does need to be altered and
Yeah.
stuff like that." That's the other cool thing about being in San Angelo. I've gotten to work with a lot of the local tailors here
Oh, nice.
and
yeah.
really drive business for them.
cool.
Give them
Yeah.
people and give
That's
them
good.
business and stuff like that. So shout out to all the local tailors
Yeah.
that have been helping us as well.
Nice.
But the cool thing about it is like you book an appointment.
Mhm.
It takes about 20 minutes for me to do the fitting part of
Okay.
it, where
Yeah.
we just try on a bunch of different jackets to see what's the best fit in the
I
chest
see.
and the shoulders and the stomach.
Yeah.
The sleeve length and jacket length we can deal with and,
Yeah.
and make whatever we want it to,
Okay.
which is really cool. So
Yeah.
for guys that are super tall or super short
Mm-hmm.
and they, you know, I can't find anything off the rack.
Right.
Especially in San Angelo, you got blue, black, and gray,
Yeah.
and that's about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Well, with the custom program, you got burgundy and green and
Nice.
purple, and I mean, I'm wearing one
Yeah.
of the purple suits we
know.
have. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you
Yeah.
get a lot more personalization,
That's
a
cool.
lot more like, oh, I want this specific thing.
Yeah.
So weddings have been a big one for us.
Bet. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
You know, just. I've got we'll put some pictures up of some
Yeah.
of the ones I had sent you
Yeah.
and stuff
for
like
sure.
that because
Yeah.
it's really cool to see the creations come to life.
Yeah.
And it's just something that I'm really appreciating right now. I'm
Mhm.
really just in my like era of like I just want to help people and just get
Yeah.
people fitted up and suited up, and I want to bring that tailored culture to San Angelo
For sure.
and have a
Yeah.
little bit, because a lot of people here is just like, you know, jeans and t-shirts.
know, yeah.
And you know, I want to be able to have people wear blazers and
I
a
do
jeans.
too. So I'm a big blazer dude. So
Yeah.
usually I'm always in a blazer. So
Absolutely.
this is exciting to me because I
Yeah.
want that more here too.
Well, and we'll get you something that's like wool silk linen,
Yeah.
so that it, even if you got to wear it in the heat,
right.
it'll
yeah,
still
yeah,
be
yeah.
breathable. We can actually
Exactly.
make it half lined as well, so that there's more
Nice.
airflow that's coming in the jacket.
Okay.
A lot of little neat tricks and stuff like that you can do to make sure that you're not going to be sweating your
Exactly,
ass
'cause
off
that's what happens
in
in
the
the
West
summer.
Texas heat.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's
Cool.
we're doing big things over there. We're
Yeah.
excited to we're actually gonna maybe be doing some events soon, maybe
Yeah.
at the clubhouse in Bentwood and stuff
Oh,
like
nice.
that. Yeah,
Yeah?
we're
Cool.
it's in the works. We're
Yeah.
maybe gonna be doing a fitting event and stuff like that for the
Mhm.
trunk show for fall winter.
Nice.
So it's
Yeah.
cool. We got some cool things planned. It's been going really well.
Yeah.
You know, one of the really cool things about Alton Lane and stuff is the factory they use. We do all the alterations ahead of time.
Okay.
So pretty much when it comes in
Yeah.
and after I'm done steaming it out and you come to
Oh.
pick it up,
Yeah.
you could pretty much put it on and walk out the door with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's been really cool to
And you can customize the
Oh, yeah.
That's
So,
pretty cool, man.
before we knew if we were having a boy or girl,
Yeah.
I just put baby G.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah.
So that, Goldsberry and everything like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
baby G
Okay.
2025. So in
Cool.
10 years when I'm wearing this suit, I'll remember whenever he was just barely born.
That's right.
And I think it's a
Yeah.
really cool way to personalize your stuff. A lot of the
It
wedding
is.
suits, we do the wedding date on the
Oh,
inside.
that's cool.
Some of the
Yeah.
wedding suits, we've actually done personal messages from the
Oh,
wife
oh,
or the fiance
wow.
to the husband.
Uh-huh.
So that's pretty cool as well.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's a couple that I'm working with.
Yeah.
Where, because a lot of times guys, they can't make a lot of decisions
Right.
on their own.
Yeah.
They need the other half there to help them, guide them in the right direction and stuff
Exactly.
like that.
Yeah.
But it's cool because I'll be like, all right, husband, go walk around for a little bit, and I'll talk to the
Yeah.
fiance and be like, what do you want to write on the inside for him?
Oh, cool.
And then it's like
Yeah.
a surprise because then whenever he comes
Yeah.
in, we don't say anything about it. And then he looks at
Oh,
it for the first time and sees
dude.
like, I love you,
Yeah.
or like, to the moon,
Dude,
or
that's so
whatever their
cool.
like,
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
their saying is and stuff. So
That
it's really
is
cool. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
That's
I'm
awesome,
really
man.
excited for what we're doing, man. It's
Yeah.
it's a pleasure to be here. I really appreciate
Yeah,
you
dude.
inviting me on, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been
This
a blast
has been
talking,
awesome,
dude.
man.
Yeah, absolutely.
So last thing I
Yeah.
always do with everybody,
Yeah.
what are 3 things that you're genuinely grateful for?
Foremost, and my
Nice.
awesome, beautiful girlfriend.
Yeah.
Those 2 things are a huge blessing right now.
Absolutely.
Family,
Yeah.
having all the support. Her mom coming down from Lubbock, staying at Airbnb, taking care of us, taking care of the baby so we can have some sleep.
Yep.
My mom taking care of Rowan and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Family and my baby and my girlfriend are 2 things that I'm really grateful for. And then all my clients, all
Yeah.
these new guys that are getting introduced to the program.
Yes.
The guy that called me today that booked the appointment, those are paying my bills, and
Yeah.
I'm super grateful for that. And
Absolutely.
and
yeah.
I think I'm also just grateful for being alive.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? Every
Yeah.
day that we wake up is another good day to
That's
be
right.
grateful for it. So
For sure, man.
I think that's definitely my 4 things, I guess.
That's great, dude. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for coming
Dude,
in, dude.
thank you
Yeah,
very
this was
much.
awesome,
Thanks
Zach.
for having me, man. I
Absolutely.
really appreciate it.
Cool. And I'll put your information here too, your number and
Yeah,
and name. and
do
all
it,
that.
man. Yeah, you guys feel free to call, text me, shoot me a text. I'm happy to help.
Nice.
We can book an appointment and get you guys right.
Cool. All right, guys. Take care. We'll see you later. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Zach, for coming in and sharing your incredible story. Really loved hearing that. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Remember,